Your source energy is so in love with you and flowing only that to you and allowing you to take it or leave it without it affecting. In other words, your inner being doesn't freak out if you're not ready to know the power and the beauty of who you are.
Hi. So, I came here today. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
But 2 nights ago, I had a dream. My wife had told me we were coming to this thing called Abraham. And 2 nights ago, I had a dream that I was at this kind of sermon, and Abraham came back to me. We were lying down at the sort of the back, and she was this little black woman, and she was telling me some stuff, and I woke up my wife and said, I had this dream, but I can't remember what she was telling me. And my wife, who follows you, said, maybe when you come today, she'll say something that will click. You said on the first speaker, you said you're looking for love in all the wrong places, and I said to my wife, that's it. And my wife said, you need to put your hand up, and I had no intention of putting my hand up. And she said, you need to put your hand up. And I don't even know if I believe in this kind of stuff.
This is crazy.
So, you're helping us to say something that we really want to say. So Esther stands here, and to many who are in the audience, or some who are in the audience, she looks like someone who's sure of herself and has a good turn of phrase and is expressing concepts that sort of kind of make sense. But for many, it could just be yet another opinion about something that could be helpful to you, like so many opinions that are running around your planet. But if something that you hear puts you in a place where you then attract something that you've been talking about, now you've had a true experience that does give you knowing. The way we like to explain that is, let's say you've meditated and you manage to quiet your mind, and when you stop your thoughts, you stop resistant thoughts, and when there's no resistant thoughts, then your vibration rises. That's why dreams can be powerful, because there's less resistance while you're sleeping. So your vibration rises, and when your vibration has risen to the equivalency of who you really are, then what you know from that vantage point, you can know in this vantage point, at least for this moment. And so then we really like that when then your life experience causes you to know something. In other words, it's what happened to you in that you had the dream and you had the discussion and your inner being is hearing it. We're all in on all of this. So this is your opportunity to at least acknowledge that there's something bigger than just your conversation with your wife, and that the dream is something that's bigger than just the conversation with your wife, and that you have things that you want that are bigger than just the conversation with your wife, and that your inner being is in on it, and that you can be called through the path of least resistance to understanding things. So when you say, I don't even know if I believe this, we're not interested if you believe this, but what we are interested in is that you believe that your thoughts create, and that when you think something with no resistance, that has power that will attract an outcome. And that's what this has shown to you. You attracted an outcome because it was something that had very little resistance within it. It was a dream that didn't really mean anything. In other words, dreams you can sort of take and leave. But here you are, proving to yourself that your thoughts are powerful and that you get what you think about, and especially when you're in connection with someone else. Those things you talk about cause you to offer a vibration, and those vibrations are your point of attraction, and stuff happens. So what you just demonstrated through your important story is all we talk about every day. The meaning in the dream is that there's infinite intelligence who is aware of you and who is flowing to you, and you got to make your way to it. Everything that we've talked about here today is the meaning that you're looking for, you see. Here you are, you've made it to this. This is not a philosophy that you must study and learn. This is a science that just responds to you in very predictable and accurate ways. And once you understand the law of attraction and the laws of the universe, and you go with the flow of that, you can be or do or have anything that you choose. And there's no one in all of the universe asserting anything into your experience. So we're not asking you to believe anything except that the laws of the universe will show themselves to you. And once you get in sync with them in a deliberate and focused way, then you get on with life in the way you intended when you decided to come to begin with. Do you recall any question that was in your mind in that dream?
No, it was more, it wasn't a question. A friend of mine said, how did you know it was Abraham? And it was a feeling. So that the feeling I got was that you were imparting on me. I have a 3.5-year-old son who is just, it was like the light of my life. And he's, even if I'm disciplining him, I will feel so guilty about that, because I see this little, beautiful little flower that's so innocent of what you were talking about earlier. And so it's more of a feeling like, how do I bring up this little being that I have no idea what I'm doing?
It was a lot for you to hear today. And it was one of the things that we said for the first time here today. But this is what you're talking about here. Your source energy is so in love with you and flowing only that to you and allowing you to take it or leave it without it affecting. In other words, your inner being doesn't freak out if you're not ready to know the power and the beauty of who you are. Just continues to flow it. In the same way, when you stand in those shoes as a parent and you're just loving and flowing, and we want you to know that disciplining a child is not the opposite of loving the child. Guiding a child is not the opposite of loving the child. There's no reason for you to feel guilt about guiding your child to what you believe is for the well-being and the good and the safety of the child. See what we're getting at? In the same way that source is reaching to you, source is reaching to your child too. And in the same way that source is reaching to you and source is reaching to your child, you are reaching to your child too. You see, humans have received a misunderstanding of who God is. Humans have translated God into somebody who is demanding and specific and controlling and punishing. That's not what non-physical energy is. And so in your quest for goodness, that's what so many humans have come to be, because they're trying to mimic something that is a flawed premise. But when you get into a real life situation where you do whatever you do and you have an outcome, then you come to know, you already know, but you will come to know even more clearly that source energy is love, and that source energy is well-being, and that source energy is confidence and alignment and knowledge. And more, as you calibrate to that, then that's the person that you will be, who is up close to your child. Now, stay with us. This is the best thing that we've said all day. Your child is looking to you. That sort of sounds like we're saying to you, you better be really good, because your child is calibrating to you. And if you're a rotten parent, or if you don't get this, then your child will be calibrating to something that doesn't serve them. That is the opposite of what we've been saying all day long. We don't want your child to calibrate to you, and we don't want you to calibrate to each other. We want you to demonstrate that you're doing your best to calibrate to your source. If something goes wrong and you're in a bad mood, and maybe you take it out on those who are close to you, or maybe your child gets your goat because your goat was gettable, yanks your chain because your chain was yankable, pushes your button because your button is pushable. We got a million of these. But just from this conversation, to have the sense of this enough that you might say to anybody in the room, hey guys, I'm out of whack, doesn't matter why, I'm going to go off and come into alignment with who I am, or I'm going to go off and get feeling better. And then you remove yourself from whatever you're responding to, and you do a little calibrating. Do these people drive me crazy, or do I have mostly love for them? Do I hate them or love them? I love them. Do I want to get rid of them, or do I want to be with them? I want to be with them. Am I failing, or am I finding my way? I'm finding my way. And as you calibrate yourself back into alignment, there will be a noticeable difference. They will notice the difference in you as you return. And that is the greatest gift that you could ever give to anyone. The gift of personal knowledge of how to reconnect with source energy.